Will you join me here on a beautiful day standing in front of Hyundai's Kona electric standard range model. This one has about 300 kilometres of range and starts from mid $50,000 in Australia. Finished here in surfy blue. This one is the Highlander model. You can see it's got some flasher wheels, it's got the colour coding all the way around, and it says Highlander here, and that gives you a lot more bits and pieces on the inside. Heated and ventilated front seats, heated steering wheel, sunroof, nice leather upholstery with contrasting stitching. And while the Kona's a few years old now, it's actually a really nice car to drive in town thanks to its short wheelbase and compact size. And it's a very nice day in Sydney, as you can see, but I digress. One thing I really have got used to with the Hyundais now is the brake regeneration controls. You can actually adjust the regenerative braking with these little paddles here on the steering wheel where you'd normally have gear selectors in an ICE car, and you can increase or decrease the regeneration when you're moving, and you can actually pull and hold this one on the left to apply maximum regeneration, say if you're coming up to a traffic light or a line of parked cars. It works quite well rather than having to dive into menus to actually go into these controls. Well, welcome to the interior of the Hyundai Kona Electric. I'm quite fond of this car. It's getting a little bit long in the tooth now, but really nice to drive as an urban little compact SUV, despite the suspension being a little bit firm, but it's got more than enough power, tons of range. This week, 141 kilometres, 11.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres, and still 50% battery remaining. So anyone who thinks they need a 500 or 600 kilometre range EV is absolutely kidding themselves for most daily uses. The interior is a pretty nice place in the Highlander. It's got this kind of metallic-y but plastic buttons. You've got auto climate control here. You've got this large touchscreen with Google, Android Automotive and Apple CarPlay. You've also got the heated and cooled seats, heated steering wheel, reversing camera with sensors. You've also got a head-up display that just pops out of the dash up here. It's one of these dinky little Perspex screen type ones there. And a digital driver information display up here. Boot space is limited. Put a pram in there and you've basically run out of space, but as an urban car, it's really fantastic. The seat space is somewhat compromised too, but it's still a nice cabin. Cabin plastics are pretty good, and it's relatively comfortable back there, and there's enough height for passengers' feet. Styling wise, I don't actually mind the Kona. It's a double light cluster. It's a little bit strange for some people, but it's a design that's held up well over the years, and with the streamlined front, it looks a little bit futuristic in the electric version. Now you do have this charge port here at the front, which I don't personally like the position of that, but it doesn't bother some people. It just means you have to drive into all fast chargers nose first. It is illuminated around the outside though, which is kind of cool for night time. Now this is an EV with a 39.2 kilowatt hour battery. This is a standard range Kona. It doesn't have the 64 kilowatt hour version of the Niro or the other Kona, but it gives you a real 300 kilometers of range. And in my week driving the car, I've been seeing about 11.6 to 12 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, so very good. Now it's driven by a 100 kilowatt front mount motor, so 50 kilowatts less than the extended range Kona that we're used to, but it still has the same 395 newton meters of torque, so it's actually really punchy. It's fine around town. It won't set your pants on fire, but it's a car that's really good for inner city driving. So the Kona is getting a little bit long in the tooth. Sister brand Kia has just launched the new Niro EV, which shares the platform with this. You've also got the BYD Atto 3 coming in at about $45,000, and the new MG ZS EV coming in shortly. So do you think the Hyundai Kona is still a worthy competitor, or do you think it should be sent out to pasture? Let me know in the comments below.